It is easy to overreact to an unexpected loss. Scott Brown's decision to quit international football, announced just weeks before the start of the 2018 World Cup qualifying campaign, came out of nowhere. He wasn't just a key player in Gordon Strachan's plans. He wasn't just the captain. For most, he is the man Scotland supporters identify as the embodiment of the national team's desire and spirit. When the team sheet comes out for the opening match in Malta, everyone would expect to see Brown's name there and wouldn't bat an eyelid. He is a mainstay, the beating heart, a pivotal player. When all said and done about his decision to concentrate solely on his club career, citing fears he could no longer be at his best when also faced with the demands of playing for Scotland, there will be a clear hole that will take time to plug. There were critics at the end of last campaign who said his legs had gone, that the edge, the ability to get in opponent faces, snap at heels and recover the ball effectively had disappeared. Clearly something was lacking. The wholehearted approach had been replaced in spells by some ghost-like performances. Brown's decision, and the explanation for it, makes clear why. The demands of playing for almost 11 months per year when he has carried serious injuries, often for long spells before finally trying to fix them, have caught up. A summer break, however short, allowed his body to heal, but also gave him the opportunity to reflect and realize that his career was in jeopardy if he kept going at the same pace. It would be easy, with hindsight, to criticize him for the decisions made in his career which bring him to the point, at the age of 31, of having to call time on playing for his country prematurely. This is a player who has been unfortunate to pick up some debilitating injuries to his ankle, yet he persistently put himself on the line for his team by playing when he arguably should have been rested. He delayed an operation to a problem with his hip for months on end. Brown was in his prime, and knew his body better than any of us observing from the outside. But again, with the benefit of hindsight, he now himself recognizes it has caught up with him. He is paying for that dogged determination to never give in, that sometimes over-commitment to the cause. The holidays, and a change of role at Celtic, has clearly revitalized Brown. His performance against Hapoel Beersheva in the Champions League playoff showed glimpses of the flame starting to flicker again. It showed him off as a player, showing he could thrive with being given the responsibility of being a more box-to-box midfielder in a side which attacks with power and aggression. That side of his game had been strangled in recent years. The best of Brown could now be on its way back. The infuriating part of it all for Scotland fans watching is of course that with the World Cup campaign looming, Brown would have given Strachan food for thought about how he could bring that to the national team. Replacing the basic elements Brown brought to the Scotland side will prove tricky enough. The passion, the presence he brings to the team regardless of whether he is having an off day with his own performance. There is also no glaringly obvious candidate who can't bring the same level of leadership implied by how he plays the game. Scotland's midfield dynamic will now have to change. There are a handful of players who can't slot in. James McArthur is the obvious choice to take his shirt. A fifth James Morrison is also a contender. There is now a clearer path for John McGinn to develop. Perhaps Barry Bannan, as a long shot, can bring his tenaciousness and close control to such a role. None of them bring the skill set of Brown. You can't take that as a negative, or as an opportunity for progress. Either way, Scotland now go into a World Cup qualifying campaign needing to rethink how they play, and they go in without the man who could have epitomized what's needed to finally have a successful campaign. It is unfortunate that of Brown's 50 caps, he has not enjoyed the defining moments his efforts warranted. No glory to finally reaching a major championship. Just a few moments of false hope. France, Italy, Czech Republic, Georgia. They are the names his generation will be defined by, regardless of their ability or efforts, whether that's a fair reflection or not. Few will begrudge his decision. It is a decision he won't have taken lightly. Here is a player who genuinely loves playing for his country, and will feel the loss. The majority of the Tartan army will lament his call. When players normally quit the national team, their powers are on the wane. Brown continues to define the style of play. He was an asset. Opinions may change when the team embark on the road to Russia. But before they even set off, the body blow has been inflicted.